Commander Jake Morrison sat in his chair on the bridge of the Starship Ranger. The lights of distant stars filled the view screen in front of him. His crew worked quietly at their stations. Everything seemed normal in this part of space. They were on patrol duty near the edge of human territory. Nothing exciting ever happened out here. The communication system made a soft beeping sound. Morrison looked up from his reports. The sound was strange. It was not the usual signal they heard from Earth or other human ships. This was different. The pattern was unknown. "Commander, we are getting a transmission," said Lisa Chen from her position at the tactical station. She was young but very good at her job. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls. "The signal is encrypted." "I have never seen this type of code before." Morrison stood up and walked over to her station. He looked at the strange symbols on her screen. They moved and changed in patterns that hurt his eyes to watch. "Can you decode it?" he asked. "Working on it," Lisa said. Her computer made clicking sounds as it tried to break the code. After several minutes, words began to appear on the screen. They were in basic human language, but the message was shocking. "Do not let them find your homeworld. Earth is marked. They believe it is weak. It is not. Warning sent at great risk. Trust no one from the Empire." The message included coordinates to a location in space. Then it cut off completely. The bridge became very quiet. Morrison felt his heart beating faster. Someone out there knew about Earth. Someone was warning them about danger. But who was they, and what was this empire the message mentioned? "Sir, should I report this to command?" asked Ryan O'Connor from the engineering station. He was a big man with steady hands and a calm voice. He had been with Morrison for 3 years. Morrison trusted his judgment. Morrison thought about it. The message said to trust no one. If he sent this to command, it would go through many people. Some of those people might not be what they seemed. The coordinates were only a few hours away from their current position. "We investigate first," Morrison decided. "Change course to those coordinates." "But we go in quiet. No signals. No active scans until we know what we are dealing with." The Ranger turned toward the mysterious coordinates. The ship moved through space like a ghost. Morrison had a bad feeling about this. In 20 years of service, he had never received a message like that. Someone was watching Earth. Someone thought his home planet was weak. After 2 hours of travel, they arrived at the coordinates. Space looked empty at first. But then Lisa found something on her sensors. "Commander, there is a large object ahead. It is not showing up on normal scans. I can only see it because I am looking for gravitational distortions." "Put it on screen," Morrison ordered. The view screen shimmered and then showed a massive space station. It was dark and looked abandoned. The design was unlike anything Morrison had ever seen. It was clearly not human technology. "No life signs," reported Lisa. "But the station still has power. Some systems are still working. It looks like it has been here for a very long time." Morrison made his decision. "Prepare a boarding party. Chen, O'Connor, you are with me. We take hand scanners and weapons. If someone sent us that warning, maybe they left more information on that station." 20 minutes later, they were aboard a small shuttle heading for the alien station. Morrison felt nervous but excited. This was the first time humans had found alien technology. If the warning was real, they needed to learn everything they could. The shuttle landed in what looked like a docking bay. The artificial gravity still worked. The air was breathable but smelled strange. Morrison and his team walked carefully through empty corridors. "Emergency lighting gave everything a red glow. This place gives me the creep, said O'Connor. His voice echoed in the empty halls. "Where is everyone? If this station has power, someone should be here." They found what looked like a command center. Banks of computers lined the walls. Most screens were dark, but one was still active. Lisa approached it carefully. "The interface is strange, but I think I can access the data." As she worked on the computer, Morrison and O'Connor explored the rest of the room. They found star charts on the walls. Some showed the positions of hundreds of star systems. Others showed invasion routes and battle plans. Morrison felt cold when he saw Earth marked on several of the charts. "Commander, you need to see this," Lisa called out. She had managed to access the station's records. "This station belongs to something called the Valdori Empire. They have been watching human space for months. They think we are weak and primitive." Morrison read the information on the screen. The Valdori had sent spy drones to watch human ships and colonies. Their reports said humans were disorganized and emotional. They had basic technology but no real military power. The Empire was planning an invasion. There is more, Lisa continued. The warning message came from someone called a keeper. The records say keepers are an ancient race that watches other species but rarely interferes. This one risked everything to warn us. O'Connor found more data files. Look at this. The Valdori Empire has conquered over 200 worlds. They study each target for weaknesses, then attack with overwhelming force. They have never failed. Morrison felt anger building inside him. These aliens thought Earth was an easy target. They had been spying on humans and making plans to invade his home. Well, they were about to learn something about humans that their spies had missed. Download everything, he ordered. All their invasion plans, ship designs, technology, data, everything. We are taking this information back to Earth. As they copied the alien data, Morrison thought about the warning. Someone out there had risked their life to help humanity. The least he could do was make sure Earth was ready for what was coming. The Valdori Empire thought humans were weak. They were about to discover how wrong they were. General Karthek stood in the command center of the Valdori battle station. His gray skin had dark markings that showed his high rank in the Empire. Around him, dozens of officers worked at their stations. Data flowed across holographic displays showing the strength of the Empire's newest target. The humans of Earth looked pathetic. Their ships were small and slow. Their weapons were primitive energy beams and simple missiles. Most importantly, they seemed to have no unity. The spy reports showed them arguing and fighting among themselves constantly. Another easy conquest, Karthek thought to himself. The Empire had perfected the art of war over 1,000 years. They studied their targets carefully, found their weaknesses, then struck with perfect precision. It had worked on every world they had ever attacked. Intelligence analyst Velnara approached his platform. She was younger than most officers, but very good at reading data. Her reports were usually accurate. Today, however, she looked worried. "General, I have concerns about the human intelligence data," she said carefully. In the Empire, questioning a superior could be dangerous. But Velnara was too good at her job to ignore her instincts. Karthek looked down at her from his raised platform. "Explain your concerns, analyst. The data seems incomplete, sir. Our spy drones have only observed the outer edges of human space. We have no information about their homeworld defenses. Also, some of their technology readings are inconsistent. The humans appear primitive, but some energy signatures suggest more advanced capabilities." Karthek waved his hand dismissively. "We have used the same intelligence methods for centuries. They have never failed us. The humans show all the signs of a weak species. They are emotional instead of logical. They waste resources on art and entertainment. They cannot even unite their own planet under one government." "But sir," Velnara continued, "their emotional responses might not be weakness. When humans are threatened, they seem to become more dangerous, not less, and their lack of unity might actually be a strength. It makes them unpredictable." The general's eyes flashed with anger. "Are you suggesting that our proven methods are wrong? That emotions make a species stronger? That chaos is better than order?" His voice carried a warning that made other officers look up from their work. Velnara lowered her head. "No, General. I apologize for questioning your judgment. I will adjust my reports to match standard assessment protocols." "Good. Prepare the final invasion plans. Admiral Zoran will lead the assault fleet. We will give the humans a chance to surrender peacefully. When they refuse, we will demonstrate the power of the Empire. This conquest will be completed in less than one planetary rotation." Velnara returned to her station, but the doubts remained in her mind. She had studied hundreds of species for the Empire. Something about the humans felt different. Their military formations looked chaotic, but there seemed to be hidden patterns. Their technology appeared simple, but the energy readings from some of their installations were very high. Most troubling were the human emotional responses. When Valdori spy drones had been detected near human colonies, the humans did not panic or flee. Instead, they became calm and focused. They worked together with frightening efficiency. That was not the behavior of a weak species. Meanwhile, on the planet Earth, Dr. Sarah Kim sat in her laboratory studying gravitational wave detectors. She was a physicist who worked for the Global Defense Initiative. Her job was to watch for objects moving through space near Earth. Lately, her instruments had been picking up strange readings. The gravitational distortion suggested massive objects moving at the edge of the solar system. The objects were too big to be asteroids and moving too purposefully to be natural phenomena. When she tried to get telescope time to investigate, her requests were denied. The Defense Council said they had more important priorities. Sarah knew something was wrong. She had been studying space for 15 years. These readings were unlike anything she had ever seen. The objects seemed to be positioning themselves around the solar system in a pattern that looked almost like an invasion formation. She decided to present her findings directly to the Defense Council. If something was out there, Earth needed to know about it. She prepared her data and requested an emergency meeting. To her surprise, the meeting was granted for the next day. Back on the Valdori battle station, Admiral Zoran reviewed the invasion fleet. 200 ships of various sizes filled the space around the station. Each ship had been tested in battle many times. The crews were experienced and confident. This would be their easiest victory yet. The Admiral was proud of Valdori military doctrine. They always struck with overwhelming force. They used fear as a weapon, showing their targets the futility of resistance. Most species surrendered immediately when they saw the size of the Imperial fleet. Humans will be no different, Zoran told his officers. They will see our ships and know they cannot win. Their primitive weapons cannot harm our shields. Their small fleet will be destroyed in minutes. We will broadcast our surrender demands and they will comply. The fleet prepared to enter hyperspace. Navigation computers calculated the jump to the human solar system. In a few days, they would emerge at the edge of human space and begin the final conquest. The Valdori Empire would grow by one more world. General Karthek watched the fleet depart with satisfaction. The humans had no idea what was coming. Their spy networks had missed the massive Valdori preparation. Their primitive sensors could not detect ships in hyperspace. By the time they realized they were under attack, it would be too late to mount any meaningful defense. What the Valdori did not know was that their spy station had been discovered. The data they thought was secret had been copied by human agents. Even now, that information was on its way to Earth. The humans knew the invasion was coming. More importantly, the Valdori had completely misunderstood what they were seeing. Human technology was not primitive. Human emotions were not weakness. Human chaos was not disorder. Everything the Empire thought they knew about humanity was wrong. The Valdori had built their entire invasion plan on false assumptions. They believed they were attacking a weak, primitive species that would surrender quickly. Instead, they were about to attack the most dangerous predators in the galaxy. And those predators had been preparing for this moment for a very long time. The space around Neptune erupted with brilliant flashes of light as the Valdori fleet emerged from hyperspace. 200 massive ships appeared in perfect formation, their dark hulls gleaming with advanced armor and weapons. Admiral Zoran stood on the bridge of his flagship, confident that this would be another easy victory for the Empire. "Begin standard invasion protocol," he ordered his communications officer. "Broadcast surrender demands to the human homeworld. Give them one standard time unit to respond. When they refuse, we will demonstrate our superior firepower." The message was sent toward Earth at light speed. The Admiral expected panic and confusion from the primitive humans. Instead, the response came back almost immediately. It was not what he expected to hear. "This is Captain Elena Rodriguez, commander of the Earth Defense Network. Thank you for coming to us. It saves us the trouble of hunting you down across the galaxy. Please maintain your current position while we prepare to receive you properly." Zoran stared at the communication display in confusion. The human female spoke with calm confidence, not fear. Her words suggested that Earth had been expecting this attack. That was impossible. The Empire's intelligence network was perfect. "Admiral, our sensors are detecting some unusual readings from the inner system," reported his tactical officer. "There appear to be more human installations than our intelligence indicated. Some of them are very large." "Impossible," Zoran replied. "Our spy drones map this entire system. The humans have a few small orbital stations and some primitive mining operations. Show me what you are seeing." The main display changed to show a tactical map of the human solar system. What appeared on screen made the Admiral feel cold for the first time in many years. The asteroid belt was filled with massive structures that had not been there in the spy reports. Several moons around Jupiter and Saturn showed signs of heavy industrial activity. Most shocking of all, Earth itself was surrounded by a network of orbital platforms that dwarfed anything the Valdori had seen before. The humans had not been hiding because they were weak. They had been hiding because they were preparing. "Sir, we are detecting massive energy signatures from multiple locations," the tactical officer continued. "The human installations are powering up weapon systems. These energy readings are far beyond what our intelligence reports indicated." Captain Rodriguez's voice came through the communication system again. "We know who you are, Admiral Zorian of the Valdori Empire. We know about your conquest of the Altair colonies and the massacre at Proxima Station. We have been studying your tactics and technology for quite some time." The Admiral felt his confidence cracking. How did these primitives know his name and military history? How did they know about classified Empire operations? A terrible thought began to form in his mind. What if the humans had discovered the spy station? "Begin the attack," he ordered desperately. "All ships target the largest human installations. Show them the power of the Empire." The Valdori fleet moved toward Earth, weapons charging and shields at maximum strength. That was when the first trap was sprung. What the Valdori had thought were simple communication satellites suddenly revealed themselves as weapons platforms. Hundreds of hidden installations throughout the solar system came online at once. The humans had turned their entire star system into a fortress. The first human weapons to fire were kinetic bombardment systems. Massive tungsten rods accelerated to incredible speeds struck the leading Valdori ships. The aliens had never seen weapons like these before. Their shields, designed to stop energy, beams were useless against solid projectiles moving at relativistic speeds. 3 Valdori cruisers were destroyed in the first volley. The explosions lit up space like small suns. Admiral Zoran watched in horror as his supposedly invincible fleet began taking heavy casualties from an enemy they had underestimated completely. "Return fire. All weapons," he screamed. The Valdori ships unleashed their plasma cannons and particle beams at the human installations. Some shots hit their targets, but the damage was less than expected. The human defensive platforms were heavily armored and had adaptive shielding. What made it worse was that the humans fought dirty. They did not follow the honorable rules of combat that the Valdori expected. Human ships appeared from behind asteroids and launched surprise attacks. They used stealth technology to become nearly invisible. They targeted Valdori engines and weapons systems instead of fighting fair battles. Colonel Pete Turner led a boarding party that infiltrated one of the damaged Valdori cruisers. Instead of trying to capture the ship, his team had a different mission. They were there to steal the alien computer systems and learn everything they could about Valdori technology. The human soldiers moved through the alien ship like ghosts. They knew exactly where to go because they had studied the ship designs from the captured spy station data. Within minutes, they had accessed the main computer core and begun downloading everything. The Valdori crew tried to stop them, but the humans were ready for that too. They used weapons and tactics that the aliens had never encountered. Instead of standing and fighting in formation, the humans used the ship's own structure against its defenders. They moved fast and struck from unexpected directions. Turner's team completed their mission and escaped back to their own ship, leaving behind a special surprise. They had reprogrammed the Valdori ship's weapons to target other ships in the fleet. The aliens found themselves being attacked by their own vessels. Admiral Zoran realized that everything had gone wrong. His fleet was being destroyed by an enemy that should not have been able to fight back. The humans were using technology and tactics that the Empire had never seen before. Worse, they seemed to know exactly how to counter every Valdori weapon and defense. "Sir, we are receiving multiple distress signals from our ships," reported his communications officer. "The humans are not just attacking us. They are capturing our vessels and crews. They seem to want our technology intact." The Admiral understood now. This had been a trap from the beginning. The humans had wanted the Valdori to attack Earth. They had prepared their entire solar system as a massive snare designed to capture an invasion fleet. The Empire had sent its ship straight into the jaws of the most dangerous predators in the galaxy. Captain Rodriguez's voice came through the communication system one more time. "Admiral, you have 2 choices. Surrender now, and your surviving crews will be treated well. Continue fighting, and we will demonstrate why Earth has survived as an independent world for so long. Choose quickly. My patience is limited." Looking at the tactical display, Zor-An saw that half his fleet was already destroyed or captured. The remaining ships were surrounded by human forces that seemed to appear from nowhere. The Empire's mighty invasion fleet had been reduced to scattered survivors in less than 2 hours. For the first time in 1,000 years of conquest, a Valdori admiral prepared to surrender. The humans had shown the Empire what real warfare looked like. They had turned the hunter into the hunted, and the trap had been perfect. Engineer Amy Watson stood in the captured Valdori cruiser's engine room, her eyes bright with excitement. Around her, pieces of alien technology lay scattered on workbenches. She had been dreaming of this moment since joining the Earth Defense Force. Finally, she had advanced alien tech to study and improve. "This is incredible," she said to her team. "Their shield generators use a completely different approach than ours. But look at this," she pointed to a control panel. "They have built-in safety limits that prevent overloading. If we remove those limits and add a feedback loop here." Her assistant, Tony Martinez, watched as Amy began rewiring the alien systems. "Are you sure this is safe?" "Those safety limits were probably put there for a reason," Amy grinned. "Safe is not the point. Effective is the point. The Valdori think in terms of protecting their equipment. We think in terms of using everything as a weapon. Watch this." She finished her modifications and activated the shield generator. Instead of creating a defensive barrier, the modified shield generator produced an unstable energy field that expanded outward. When it touched the metal walls of the test chamber, they began to glow and melt. Amy had turned a defensive system into a devastating weapon in less than 30 minutes. Meanwhile, pilot Danny Cruz was having his own success with captured Valdori fighters. The alien ships were designed to be controlled by computer systems that calculated optimal flight paths and attack patterns. They were very efficient but completely predictable. Danny had a different approach. He flew by instinct and experience, making split-second decisions that no computer could calculate. When he tested a captured fighter against Valdori automated defense systems, the results were amazing. The alien computers could not predict his moves because they were not logical. "It is like fighting someone who has never heard music trying to predict a jazz performance," Danny explained to his squadron. "They expect patterns and efficiency. We give them chaos and creativity. Their computers cannot process that." The success of human adaptation worried the remaining Valdori officers. They had been trained to believe that their technology was superior to anything in the galaxy. Watching humans improve their designs in hours was destroying their confidence completely. Admiral Zor-An, now a prisoner aboard a human ship, was forced to watch as his captors demonstrated capabilities that should not have been possible. The humans did not just copy Valdori technology. They made it better, faster, and deadlier than the original designs. Dr. Marcus Lee, Earth's chief strategist, visited the Admiral in his detention cell. Lee was a small man with quiet eyes, but Zor-An had learned to fear him. The humans seemed to understand Valdori psychology better than most Valdori did. "You are wondering how we knew you were coming," Lee said, sitting down across from the alien commander. "You are wondering how we prepared so perfectly for your attack. The answer is simple. We have been watching you for much longer than you have been watching us." Zor-An could not hide his confusion. "Impossible. Our spy networks would have detected human agents in Empire space. Your technology is primitive. You cannot travel the distances required for deep space espionage," Lee smiled. "You assume that primitive appearance means primitive capability. That was your first mistake. We learned about your empire from refugees who escaped your conquest fleets. We have been preparing for this day for over 50 years. The human strategist activated a holographic display that showed the Valdori invasion routes over the past century. We studied every conquest, every battle, every tactic you used. We learned your weaknesses while you ignored our strengths. Your empire conquers through overwhelming force and intimidation," Lee continued. "You expect your enemies to fight fair and follow military doctrine. You have never faced an opponent who treats war as a creative exercise rather than a formal process. Back in the research labs, teams of human scientists were making breakthrough discoveries every few hours. They had access to technology from hundreds of worlds that the Valdori had conquered. Each alien design taught them something new about physics and engineering. Dr. Linda Park was working on Valdori faster-than-light communication systems. "Look at this," she called to her colleagues. "They use quantum entanglement for instant messaging across the galaxy, but they only use it for military communications. If we expand the bandwidth and modify the encryption." Within hours, the humans had not only copied the alien communication system, but had improved it to handle massive amounts of data. They were now able to coordinate their forces across the entire solar system with perfect real-time communication. The psychological effect on the Valdori prisoners was devastating. They had spent their lives believing that the Empire was the pinnacle of technological achievement. Watching primitive humans surpass their greatest accomplishments in a matter of days shattered their worldview completely. Captain Rodriguez visited the main detention facility to address the captured alien officers. She wanted them to understand exactly what had happened to their invasion fleet and why their empire had failed so completely. "You studied us for months and learned nothing," she told them. "You saw our emotions and mistook them for weakness. You saw our chaos and mistook it for disorder. You saw our technology and mistook complexity for primitiveness. Humans do not fight wars the way you do," Rodriguez continued. "We do not follow rules or honor codes. We do not limit ourselves to approved tactics. When someone threatens our home, we use every tool, every trick, every advantage we can find or create. Your empire conquers worlds by demonstrating superior technology and forcing surrender. That works against species who think like you do. It does not work against humans because we do not surrender. We adapt." Admiral Zoran spoke up from among the prisoners. "What do you plan to do with us? Will you execute us as examples to discourage other invasions?" Rodriguez looked at him with something that might have been pity. "Admiral, you still do not understand. We are not going to execute you. We are going to send you home. We want you to tell your empire exactly what happened here. We want them to know what humans are capable of when someone threatens our world. But first," she continued, "you are going to help us understand your empire's structure and defenses. Not because we will torture you, but because you will realize that cooperation is the only way to prevent a much larger war." The Admiral felt a chill as he understood the human captain's words. Earth was not content to simply defend itself. Having defeated the invasion fleet, the humans were now planning to take the war to the Empire itself. The hunters had become the hunted, and the galaxy was about to learn why Earth had remained unconquered for so long. 3 months after the failed invasion of Earth, Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the TDS Retribution. The ship was a hybrid of human engineering and captured Valdori technology, but improved beyond anything the aliens had ever imagined. Around him, displays showed the positions of the new Terran Alliance fleet. 50 ships had been built in the past months, each one incorporating lessons learned from the defeated invasion force. The humans had not simply copied alien technology. They had reimagined it, making it faster, more efficient, and more deadly than the original designs. "Sir, we are receiving a transmission from the Valdori homeworld," reported Communications Officer Lisa Chen. She had been promoted after her excellent work during the invasion. "It is a direct message from their high command." "Put it on screen," Morrison ordered. The main display showed a Valdori commander he did not recognize. The alien looked tired and defeated. Behind him, Morrison could see the interior of what appeared to be a military bunker, rather than the grand command centers he had seen in captured files. "I am General Vorthak of the Valdori High Command," the alien began. "We received Admiral Zoran's report of the failed Earth invasion. We also received your message regarding the terms for ending hostilities between our species." Morrison nodded. The message he had sent to the Valdori Empire had been simple and direct. Humanity was offering the Empire one chance to surrender peacefully. All conquered worlds would be freed. All Valdori forces would withdraw to their homeworld. Any attempt to continue military operations would result in the complete destruction of the Empire. "We formally reject your demands," Vorthak continued. "The Valdori Empire has ruled this galaxy for 1,000 years. We will not bow to a primitive species from a single world. Our remaining fleets are being assembled to respond to your aggression." Morrison sighed. He had hoped the Valdori would be smart enough to accept the peaceful option. "General, you have seen what happened to your invasion fleet. You know what humans are capable of when threatened. Are you certain you want to continue this war?" "We are certain," the Valdori general replied. "You may have defeated one fleet through trickery and deception, but you cannot stand against the might of the entire empire. We will show you the price of defying Valdori rule." The transmission ended. Morrison looked around his bridge at the faces of his crew. They had all hoped the Empire would choose peace. Now they would have to demonstrate to the galaxy exactly what humans were capable of when someone refused to leave them alone. "All ships prepare for hyperspace jump," Morrison ordered. "Target, the Valdori fortress world of Karanis Prime. It is time to show the Empire what real warfare looks like." The Terran Alliance fleet jumped to hyperspace, leaving Earth's solar system for the first time as a unified military force. Their destination was the heavily fortified world where the Valdori had built their main military headquarters. It was supposed to be the most defended planet in the galaxy. When the human ships emerged from hyperspace near Karanis Prime, they found exactly what they expected. Thousands of Valdori ships surrounded the planet in defensive formations. Orbital weapons platforms covered every approach route. The planet's surface bristled with shield generators and defensive installations. General Rebecca Stone, now commanding the Alliance ground forces, studied the tactical display. "Impressive. They have turned their entire world into a fortress. Too bad they still think like the old Empire." The Valdori opened fire first, launching everything they had at the small human fleet. Plasma beams, particle cannons, and missile swarms filled space with deadly energy. It should have been enough firepower to destroy 100 invasion fleets. Instead, the human ship simply vanished. Advanced stealth technology, improved far beyond anything the Valdori had seen, made the entire fleet nearly invisible. The aliens found themselves firing at empty space, while the real targets moved to attack positions. The retribution appeared directly above the planet's main shield generator complex. Morrison's ship had not come to fight a traditional battle. Instead, it deployed a weapon that the Valdori had never imagined. Human engineers had taken Valdori's shield technology and reversed it, creating a device that could disrupt planetary defense systems from the inside. The planet's shields flickered and died as the reverse-engineered technology turned their own defenses against them. Suddenly, Karanis Prime was completely vulnerable to attack from space. The thousands of defensive installations were useless without their protective barriers, but the humans did not attack the planet. Instead, they broadcasted a message to every Valdori military installation in the system. Captain Rodriguez's voice carried across all communication channels with perfect clarity. "Attention, Valdori forces. We have just demonstrated that your defenses are useless against human technology. Your planet is completely at our mercy. However, we did not come here to destroy you. We came here to liberate the worlds you have conquered. You have 2 minutes to surrender unconditionally. All Valdori forces will lay down their weapons and prepare for peaceful occupation. Any attempt to continue fighting will result in the complete destruction of your military capabilities." The response came from General Vorthak himself. "We will never surrender to inferior aliens. The Empire would rather die fighting than submit to human rule." His transmission was cut off as Valdori ships began their final desperate attack. What followed was not really a battle. It was a demonstration of how completely the humans had surpassed their former enemies. Valdori ships were disabled rather than destroyed, their crews captured rather than killed. Within 30 minutes, the entire defensive fleet had been neutralized. General Stone led the occupation of Karanis Prime. Human troops moved through Valdori command centers with perfect knowledge of the base layouts. They had studied captured intelligence for months and knew exactly where to go. Resistance was minimal and quickly overwhelmed. In the main command bunker, Morrison finally met the mysterious keeper who had sent the original warning. The alien was tall and thin, with features that seemed ancient beyond measure. When it spoke, its voice carried the weight of countless years. "We tried to warn them," the keeper said. "My people have watched the rise and fall of 1,000 civilizations. We learned long ago not to interfere with the natural course of events. But humanity was different." "Different how?" Morrison asked. "You are the only species we have observed that grows stronger under pressure," the keeper explained. "Other races become desperate when threatened. They make mistakes and poor decisions. Humans become calm and focused. You turn every disadvantage into an opportunity. The Valdori Empire conquered hundreds of worlds by being predictable and overwhelming. They succeeded because their enemies fought the way they expected. But humans do not fight fair. You fight to win and you use every tool available. Morrison nodded. What will you tell other species about what happened here? The keeper's expression might have been a smile. We will tell them the truth. Earth was never a trap for humans. It was a trap for anyone foolish enough to threaten it. The galaxy now has new rules, and those rules are written by humanity. 6 months later, the Valdori Empire was no more. In its place stood the Terran Alliance, a confederation of free worlds protected by human military technology. The former slave planets of the Empire had been liberated and offered membership in the new galactic community. Admiral Morrison stood once again on the bridge of the Retribution, but now the ship orbited Earth as the flagship of the Alliance fleet. Below him, his homeworld continued its daily life, unaware that they had become the protectors of hundreds of alien civilizations. The warning that had started everything had become the motto of the new alliance. Do not threaten Earth. It is not a trap for us. It is a trap for you. The galaxy had learned that humans were not the primitives they appeared to be. They were the apex predators of the universe, and they had finally revealed themselves. The Valdori had paid the ultimate price for their arrogance. They had ignored the warnings and attacked what they thought was easy prey. Instead, they had awakened something that would reshape the galaxy forever. Humanity had taken its place as the dominant force in the universe, not through conquest, but through the defense of their home and the liberation of the oppressed. And in the depths of space, other potential conquerors received the message loud and clear. Earth was not a target to be conquered. It was a fortress to be avoided. The humans had proven that sometimes the most dangerous predator is the one that looks harmless until you threaten its territory.